Green, you know what, he was here. I'd like to call meeting number 35 of the Commissioners' Order of Everyone to stand.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone please keep standing. Let's take a moment of silence to pay our respects to the late great Harry Michel, who's done so much for our community and our state. Thank you.
They do it
I
on
feel like
purpose.
that. I feel like that. Remember when who was it? Tom Hanks was in that movie Pig. You know, he shrunk. Sits down in a big chair.
I'm gonna catch the
All
culprit.
right. Wow. It's pretty somber today. You lit a fire. Like Marty's lit a fire.
Oh, good, we're ready
It's on, ready to
You
go.
should be happy. The fair's coming up this weekend. Are you ready?
I think you're losing it.
All right, let's start off with public comments. Anyone has anything they'd like to address the board, we ask you to come up and state your name and address.
Sure. Terry Sarko, Boardman, Ohio. Last night at the Board of Elections, they denied two charter amendments to go on the ballot. It's a slippery slope of denying democracy, whether it's against the Constitution or not. I was put forth to the Board of Elections, to everyone that voted to not put the, would they turn me and my family in, knowing it was against the law to be Jewish or to have Jewish blood in your family line if they were living in Italy? Would they have turned my family in and me? Because we have Jewish blood in us on my grandmother's side. So when and my family was still living under fascist Italy, and they would have been turned in because they were Jewish, because we have Jewish blood. And my family was part of the Holocaust movement. On a positive side, they were part of the Underground Railroad system. They saved a lot of Jewish people that were Italian. And the Italian people saved 89% of the Jewish population in Italy. And my family was part of that Underground Railroad system. And my aunt wound up going to the German war camp, which might as well go to the Jewish concentration camp because it was equivalent to it. But I'm just going to say, would Dave Beatrice turn my family in to the proper authorities because it was against the law to being Jewish Italians or having blood in your line? And we're proud of being Jewish and Catholic. And we put many of our Jewish traditions in our wedding ceremonies. And we found out we were Jewish in 1976 and we embraced it. And now when I see what they did last night, it just quivers me. Like, would they have turned my family in and me and my other friends that are Jewish if it was against the law, if they were living in Italy? And also other things like here, it was not until 1963, Connecticut versus the people. It was against getting birth control. Women had to ask their husbands for permission to get birth control until the Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court really came down saying women does not need their husband's permission to get birth control. And other illegal, not illegal, but unconstitutional laws that were fought in the courts. So there's a lot of, unjust laws that need to be taken to the U.S. Supreme Court through the proper procedures. And on a lighter note, we also have to thank Harry Michel and the YEDA group, Youngstown Arts Entertainment District Association. If it wasn't for that group, led by Harry, we would not have those 15 bars downtown because they petitioned the state, Columbus, to make this a special area, and Harry led the charge. And The way I know it, because I was with Harry and Jeff Kurtz, Josephine Hewitt, Maggie Lorenzi, John Swires. There was a group of them that led the charge to bring this downtown back to life.
Claire was involved in that.
Yes.
Claire Maluso.
Yeah, Claire Maluso.
Dennis Rowland.
Yes, I'm sorry, Dennis.
I'm the president.
I'm looking at and Bob Schatz and Jeff Kurtz. Oh God, there was a.
They had a whole team.
Yes, they did. Thank you, Dennis.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Bob.
Anyone else like public response? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to approval of previous minutes of board meeting number 34 from Thursday, August 31st, 2017, and approval of bills for payment.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
Commissioner Remedio Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. Legal notice, recycling division.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Lou.
District is requesting proposals from qualified firms to assist us with our 15-year solid waste management plan update. The first draft is due to Ohio EPA in September of next year.
Thank you. Motion to approve legal notice.
Motion to approve legal notice number 1.
Second?
Roll call.
Commissioner Remedio Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. Journal entries.
Motion to approve journal entry number 1.
Second?
Roll call.
Commissioner Remedio Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. Agreements, Commissioners, approval agreement with the Ohio Department of Health on behalf of the District Board of Health for Public Health Activities. Commissioners, OMB. Anna, is there anything you want to address on that, or just?
No.
That is just a memorandum of understanding with Dustin County Sheriff's Department for the security at the administration building for the commissioners. Cost is $64,964 annually. Engineers.
Commissioner, this is an agreement with Commercial Truck and Trailer for repairs to one of our vehicles, and this is non-general funds.
Thanks, Matt. Jobs and Family.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Well, it's good to see you.
He was really good. He was with me.
He must have showed up yesterday. He lost track of the days.
I lost track of the days, and Miss Uhelli brought to my attention, I stopped, I had breakfast and everything, and I'm still here early. I have a lunch date, so we gotta get in and out of here, so this is a great day.
That's amazing. That's amazing. It's good to see you.
Okay.
D&E.
D&E. I have an eye doctor appointment at 4 o'clock.
Do you need my glasses?
True story. D is our shredding contract, at no additional cost, and it's an extension, and it's non-general fund money. E is our agreement with Children's Services Board. Most of this is Title 20 money that would really go back to the state. It's non-general fund also for the services they provide to our clients and our clients' children.
Thanks, Mark. OMB grants. Now we'll do that.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jimmy. Item F is an agreement with B&J Electric of Poland for siren maintenance not to exceed $30,000. And item G is an agreement with JH Consulting to complete the county hazard mitigation plan.
Thanks. All right. Motion to agreements.
Motion to approve agreements, letters A through G.
Second?
Roll call.
Commissioner Remedio Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. Resolutions.
Motion to approve resolutions, number 1 additions.
Second?
Roll call.
Commissioner Remedio Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. Resolutions, hazmat. Anna, you can take those.
Commissioners, these are resolutions approving the A, B, and C are all for unauthorized spills that the hazmat team was called out on. Since hazmat has been brought under the board and not a standalone agency, we're required to pass these resolutions so we can bill a third party.
Unauthorized spills. Are there any authorized spills?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you. Sheriff's Department. Come on, Green's hiding again, huh? He's not coming here because he spent $300 he wasn't allowed to, so he's in big trouble.
We had to pay this bill monthly due to the fact that the 911 center was closing. We did do a year contract, and this is the last month of payment.
Okay. Okay, motion to approve resolution.
Motion to approve resolutions A through D.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficant?
Yes.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes. All right, all for the good of the order. Ralph, nothing good?
Got nothing. Oh, we did, our first meeting with the state auditor's office. They'll be taking over the audit for the county. We had a very productive meeting this morning, and some new people to train. We gotta stay. That's about it.
Well, that's good.
Great. Karen?
Commissioners, Jim, I'd like to introduce to you Amber James. Amber James is a new Human Resources Generalist in the HR Department.
Congratulations.
Good to see you, Amber, again.
Good to see you.
I forget, when we met you upstairs, we were talking football. You know, you're like one of those on the bad side, aren't you?
The bad side.
Yeah, you know, you're not a Browns fan.
I'm a Browns fan.
Oh, I thought, there's half, isn't there half and half? Isn't somebody else in your family, somebody? I thought there was a Browns fan still. Oh, that must have been.
talking about Ralph.
Michelle.
Yeah, that was, I'm sorry, Amber. Okay. You're definitely on the good side then. We're gonna make sure that you get treated a lot better than anyone else. Especially than Anthony and Ralph. Anthony and Ralph are on the bottom of the barrel starting this Sunday.
Well, I can't, how about I know this isn't the place, but how about the Brown stuff? Look at them, they've been winning all those games now.
Doesn't mean anything till Sunday. And our, you know, isn't it just apropos, we get the first pick in the draft and now he's hurt.
Oh.
I saw it.
You know, just, you know, we're gonna suffer for 40 years roaming aimlessly in the desert.
Curse of the Cuyahoga.
Yes. That's why the river cut off.
That's it.
Anyone else? Anyone else got anything good to say? Dennis, anything to give us an update on?
Not that I could think of other than Stevie Nicks coming to the Cabela.
Stevie Nicks.
When's that?
Yeah,
15.
that's coming up next week.
September?
Yeah,
And
next
it's
week.
sold out.
Is it sold
Is
out?
it?
Yes.
No kidding. Wow.
So I tried, of course, I'm gonna try one more part. I love it. That's our music.
We thank Jim Fortunato for filling in for Nancy.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome.
You know, it's always a pleasure to have James front and center.
Thank you.
You know, your granddaughter's not here. to see
No.
you.
She's
Your great
missing out.
Great granddaughter.
That's it.
Anthony, anything?
Yeah, just say that survived another fair, saw a great concert, Mellencamp.
How was that?
Nice. It
Was
was
it
a
good?
beautiful stage show. I mean, he still has it. You know, I thought I'd be seeing a maybe turned down version of John Cougar, but it was great. But he didn't play Hurt So Good. I did not understand that.
I was waiting
Why didn't he play that?
for him to come out for an encore and sing ROCKN-USA. I thought that would be his last song. But he played 90 solid minutes and he was amazing.
And the stage show was just beautiful.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Packed. You had to love it. 4 guitar players in the
Yes.
front.
Yeah.
4 guitars.
Marshall Lamps, Gibson Les Pauls, Paul Reed Smiths. I was in my
Well,
board.
there he goes. Maybe he wants to be a musician instead of a commissioner.
I would like that. I would love that.
He's a heck of a musician.
Just want to congratulate Amber. Welcome aboard with the commissioners. You have a great lady you're going to be working with, Karen. Nobody knows that position better than her, so you're very lucky to be there as well. And that's it. Harry Michelle, I knew Harry Michelle a long time. It's very sad that he had passed. Actually, a year ago, this coming 9/11, me and Harry were the speakers at the 9/11 memorial, and I had the privilege of sitting right next to Harry, and they wanted me to go first. And I told Jim Davis, I said, absolutely not. You put Harry in front of me, let Harry go, and then I'll be more than happy to talk about, you know, what some of the monuments there mean and what they're about, and let Harry, and I'm so glad that it worked out that way, because ironically enough, it'll be a year coming up that Harry is now not going to be there. And I'm going to miss sitting with him, seeing him. I was a young person in politics when I first met Harry with Jim Trafficant in 1991. Harry was actually in our DC office when I first met him, and he's just been an inspiration to me and has done so much for the valley. His name is on a lot of buildings and of course on a lot of legislation. And Harry would call me time to time and give me his opinion on things that were very dear to him. Sometimes it was in a nice vein, but other times Harry would let you know when he was mad. And but he was never shy to keep his opinion. He always was about the people, always about the community, and that's something that you have to admire and respect to a person who's dedicated his life to public service. So it's very sad, and I'm glad Dave honored him in the beginning of our meeting. And then lastly, to Mr. Osarko's comments earlier about being Jewish and the Italians, that actually a Jewish man put my father in business when my dad was down on his luck and had nothing. A Jewish person by the name of Sabi bought a truck for my dad and said, "Sam, you're one of our best workers. Go to work, we'll work out how you're going to pay that off." And he made my dad a businessman that he is today. So I wanted to say that about the Jewish people. Thank you. Yes, exactly.
Oh, my God.
You remember that, girl? I was here.
Just remember how long.
We won't say anything about that.
Just shut up. No, I echo that. I knew Harry since I was a little kid. But that, I hope in the political arena that we could just have what they had. You know, I would hope that we could go back to that, where you had that relationship with, and I think the county's doing that, with people that are Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever it is that you are, that we could have that partnership to work together with everybody. That's what they had. They had something in the state legislature. They had something that was connected to the congressionals. They didn't care who they were. That DNR didn't mean anything after the election. Then they started the mending of working together. We definitely need that so that it trickles down to help the people. Because when they act like crazies, we get nothing. They need to start working together to make that relationship. And Harry was a part of the trailblazers in that area. There was Bush Olenek and Jack McCarthy, and there was just a whole group of those legislators that did that. And the Republican ones, you know, it wasn't just the Democrats. So I mean, he did a lot for our area, along with Jim Trafficant and a lot of the other old timers that really brought a lot of the money, a lot of the programs here. So he will be missed, even though, God bless him, 93 is a great age. We have that history to fall back on. This last project was the Area Age on Aging, which he was very, very compassionate about, and very much involved in from day one. So hopefully, we younger ones could start that movement. And I think we are in Mahoning County. I mean, I really feel that way. And I gotta commend our, you know, I always complain about Casey constantly because of some of his crazy stuff with MCL and everything. But you know what? I saw him on national TV. Was it Good Morning America or something yesterday? And he made sense about the immigration and DACA. I mean, I was very impressed with him and the working relationship with both sides of the fence. I think he made a great pitch for that with our president, and I agree with him. So when he's not right, I like to say that, and when he is right on some issues, I like to commend him on that. So he gets my kudos on that one. Can't send people home that have been here since they were children. I mean, that to me makes no sense. But anyway, that's my opinion, and I want you to have a safe weekend. We're in the fall now. You know, we're back to going to be close to winter.
Moving from summer to winter, I don't think we're getting the fall.
I actually lost summer, so I'm like hoping it goes to 80 again, but I don't know if we'll see that. But do have a good week. Be
be safe. Watch out for the way you drive, and also keep your phone and texting to stop when you stop and not drive.
Thanks. Well, I too welcome Amber. You know, it's good to have you on board. Karen is a great person to work with, to work for. She has a lot of good experience both in the public and private sector that has a lot of value. And I know that you have a lot of the same traits and qualities, and that was why you were so highly recommended. So, you know, welcome. It's good to have you on board. I know there's a lot of work with all the different factions. You know, when you have 1,700 plus employees, there's a lot of things that go on a daily basis, and you know, it's so difficult has been for Karen and such a small staff, but you know, Linda and Jackie, and you know, part-time here, part-time there, you know, so welcome. You know, we're happy to have you.
Welcome. Sorry.
I'd also like to say thanks to all the people from the county that worked at the fair on our behalf and on all the departments' behalf. I know Ralph and Pat and everybody and Joe and all the departments were, you know, very well represented at the government building and in a lot of other areas. And it's always good to, you know, be able to go in and talk to somebody from that department, ask questions, pick up literature and do things. And I know a lot of people go back and forth and you know, and do that on our behalf. So I just want to thank all the county employees that work so hard at the fair on our behalf. I also wanted to say that tonight, I believe it starts at 6 o'clock at Quaker Steak and Lube in Austintown. Every year, Ken Jackenbach, one of the Board of Education members and a veteran from Vietnam, I'm sure that Bob Bush will remember and perhaps even be there. Bob was one of the veterans that were honored at that time. At one of the ceremonies at Quaker Steak and Lube every year, there's usually over 1,000 people that go there to help honor a specific amount of veterans that have given some or given all, you know, on behalf of our country. And it'll be a great lineup again tonight and honoring veterans, and there'll be a lot of people there to show their support and honor. So if you have an opportunity to go out there, it's really a nice night and a nice event to participate in. And you know, like Anthony said, I'm sure Anthony worked a lot closer than I did, but Harry and Michelle, it was so funny. My mother is almost 90, and you know, she had a box of photos, you know, from the 60s, 70s, 50s, 60s, you know, and we bring her over our house as often as we can and sit there, and she was sitting there, and I'll have to bring the photo in and show it to you, but she was sitting there, my dad was sitting on the couch, and the photo, you know how in the back when we used to get photos developed, always had the year on it, you know, so you could always see. It was 1971, and Harry and Michelle was sitting on the couch with my father. And, you know, and there was a picture of them, you know, from 40-some years ago. And, but when you talk about young, you know, they were both pretty darn young. And then there was one with Charles Carney, too. And, you know, so it was pretty neat. But it was nice to see. And really, you know, Harry, you know, this board placed Harry on the Area on Aging as our representative. And so, I mean, Harry, if someone didn't see him within the last couple of months, or you know, just looked at his age and said, "Oh, he's 93, had a great life," and that's all true. But Harry was as healthy as the rest of us. I mean, he drove, he got around, he did things, he added value, he was sharp as a tack. I mean, he was an amazing individual. And Carol hit the nail on the head, because you know, when Harry was involved after the election, you know, everything was back to community. You know, and when they said all politics are local, you know, I mean, it was just local, you know, and you did things on behalf of who you represented. It didn't matter, you know, what these or ours, you all have the same needs and, you know, issues in your local community. And, you know, it's difficult to see that coming back, and hopefully we
I think
can.
we will. I think we started that.
But you're right, I
We
think at the
started
county
that.
level, you know, we all work together.
We all work together. I mean, it's gotta be that
Why are
way.
you saying either Ralph? You keep saying
He's our art. I mean, he's our art.
That's right, Carol. Also bad influences next
When
week.
you say you're up, are you talking about because you guys went to high school together? You know, or
Yeah,
just from that?
Should've.
He took all that knowledge with us. Right?
The other thing, Dave, we don't forget things.
No.
Right.
Yeah, we don't forgive things, Dave.
Well, you know
We
what?
want you to
We
sometimes.
really do not.
The one trait that I do have is I forget easy, you know, because my wife will say to me, don't you remember in the '97 election, that guy did this, this, this? No, I don't, you know, when you're in politics, if you have a long memory, you'll never survive, you know, you gotta forget tomorrow, what happened tomorrow today, and just move on, because,
You just put it on the back burner.
You always need plausible denial.
yeah,
Put it on the back burner
it's all good.
someday.
Dennis, yeah.
Yeah, I worked with Harry Michelle for 7 years,
Wow,
and it was just he was an amazing man.
yeah,
If when Yada first got started, he wasn't there with us, but then he came right back with us. And when we went down to get the liquor license, he was right there to help us out and everything else. For 7 years,
Hands-on.
he definitely helped us. We had like 90-some members in Yada.
When you
Yeah.
went
Huh?
to him, when you went to Columbus, he knew you were coming. He was
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
not sent an aide
Mm.
yeah.
to meet you. He was there.
He was already one.
They were all there at that time. Carney, him,
Yeah,
you know, they were all there.
yeah.
Cadillac.
We had a good time. He gave a lot of influence to all of us.
And I think with
Thank
Harry,
you.
when he didn't go through the drive-thru at McDonald's. He would go into McDonald's or Red Barn or wherever fast, because that's how he met the people, you know.
So they didn't do it right.
Okay, motion to adjourn, thank you.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Remedy Agati, Mr. Trafficant.
Yes.
Mr. Dishon.
Next meeting, next Thursday, same time.
I know.